Sorry about that. Sorry for the wait. I know we're working backwards tonight, but here's the first one.
The Source engine.
Oh, I love Source.
Like Half-Life 2, Counter-Strike, TF2, Portal, or Left 4 Dead when they hear the Source engine, I think of entirely different Source engine games. You see, a very cool thing Valve has been known for is openly allowing modding to their engine, which has created a ton of cool Source games and mods, most of which being free.
Heck
because
yeah.
if you want to distribute them for a price, it's a small fee of $25,000 to be able to license a Source game. So, with me being broke as hell when I was a kid, and most of these games being free, I of course played Source engine games a lot in my childhood, and not a day goes by without me thinking about these obscure Source games. So I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna make a whole video on these games, most of which are obscure now, but were legendary at the time. So this will either be nostalgic for you, or you'll learn something new. I know I definitely learned a lot while making this video.
Definitely nostalgic for me.
About is really the main reason I'm even making this video, that game being The Hidden Source. I first heard about this game through CNanners, an OG YouTuber who is definitely the reason this game was even popular in the first place.
Max, can you pretend like you're Morgan Freeman coming to kill me?
Oh, is that classic.
This was also around 2014, which was the time I was a chronic gamer, playing like 12 hours a day with my friends on Skype. And with me being around 13 years old,
remember
I also
Skype?
had no money. And
R.I.P.
like I mentioned
Skype.
earlier, with those Source games being free, any half-decent one we could find is one we would play until it got stale. And The Hidden was definitely one of those games. In this game, or technically Half-Life 2 mod, you have a team of players called Iris that hunt down one player named The Hidden, or better known as Subject 617. Subject 617 isn't just an average person, but his most iconic ability has to be that he's invisible, but not completely invisible. He somewhat looks like heat waves, or whatever this looks like. That's him. This allows for some terrifying gameplay as Iris, watching your friends get picked off one by some invisible person. It also allows for some really fun gameplay as The Hidden though, hunting down each player and toying with them.
Where'd you go, dog? Where'd you go? Oh!
You can use voice lines. By throwing objects at them. Grenades at them, scale buildings, and hide on walls. I mean, look how fun the gameplay looks as The Hidden. Honestly, you really only want to play as The Hidden in this game. The Iris team isn't completely defenseless though, having a somewhat decent array of weapons that you can pick from, and gadgets as well. So you better play as a team to actually stand a chance against The Hidden, but usually you won't win. The lore for this game is a bit lackluster at best though. The most I could gather from it is that a company named Infinitum Research experimented with something called biological light refraction, in which I could only assume they made Subject 617 be able to refract light, which explains why he's invisible. He then somehow breaks out of containment, so Infinitum Research sends their squad called Iris, aka Infinitum Research Intercept Squad. Sadly, this game was abandoned around 2007, with the game being stuck in beta version 4B. In fact, around 2012, when I first discovered this game, it was way past this game's golden age. I mean, it was created in 2005 as a mod to Half-Life 2. I even managed to find a very old video of the creators going to GDC 2006, and goddamn is it a product of the time.
The Wii!
Source. Developed by Team Hidden. Source.
The team behind the game definitely seemed like they had a lot of fun making it though, even having little Easter eggs on each map, one of which being an original Xbox, which you could find on every map, and a silly teddy bear named Jimmy that even had a wanted poster. But like I said, this game was abandoned quite a while ago. And with how good this mod was, along with the environment of the levels and lore, I can only say that this mod deserved better. This game holds a lot of memories for me with its bleak style, and it seems like I'm not the only one. There's even a reference to Subject 617 in the game Trepang 2, which is a good ass
hell yeah!
Player named Subject 106, who can also go invisible, has the enemy say this.
Fucking reminds me of Subject 617.
I'm just glad I got to experience this game to begin with, and hopefully some of you did too. But if you want to try the game out for yourself, it's not too hard to install. The only problem is that no one is playing this game anymore. You'll have to use something like Hamachi or Radman VPN to make a private lobby with friends. This is honestly the problem with most of the games in this video. Or if you want, you can download.
Yeah, port forwarding is a bit of a pain, honestly. A while back, like a couple weeks back, I tried to play Killing Floor online with Ale and another friend of mine, with Ale Toil, which, by the way, if you haven't checked him out yet, you really should. I'm going to shout him out. Well, at least I'm going to try to shout him out, because, haha. Because, haha, social stream don't work so good. Boy. And I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do another one. Oh, he's playing Wilds. I hope he likes Wilds. I hope he likes Monster Hunter Wilds, but doesn't really seem complete to me.
Download this really good.
But yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was playing Killing Floor, and I actually tried to host a listen server, but it didn't work. But so yeah, that's a shame. A lot of the new Steam API stuff got broken. Which, yeah, it's a crying shame, really.
Good fan recreation of the game called the Hidden Iris Edition for Gary's mod, which basically does everything but better, considering it was made almost 20 years after the original. Most of the footage I'm using is from the Gary's mod game mode as well, just because it's so seamless and easy to set up, and a lot more smooth. I'll probably make a more in-depth video about it someday. My favorite.
Nice.
Now, this next source game is one I completely forgot about until very recently, thanks to a video by Desolence. This game is called Tactical Intervention. What if I told you? The creator for Counter-Strike, Min Lee, continued his passion of creating a true CT versus T game long after the success of Counter-Strike, and he did all this on the beloved Source engine. I could make a whole video on how strange this game is, and it just baffles me that this was supposed to be the Counter-Strike 2 at the time, and it also failed miserably. There are 17 playable maps in this game, each of which being the typical CT versus T that you'd come to expect from a normal Counter-Strike game, but each of these maps are very unique and have different stages where once you progress through them a couple of rounds, they'll actually change. It may be a different spawn point or just a completely new location, and although the maps are different, there are only 4 game modes in this game. Some maps may be the
Dust
typical bomb
Bowl
defusal,
from
but
Team
they
Fortress.
also have hostage rescue, VIP escort, and a car chase escort. Yes, a car chase game mode. In fact, the first time I remember seeing this game was a video by Jerma where he was playing this game mode.
Control this. You just. What is the objective?
I'll get to that game mode a bit later. For
funny,
now, let's start with the
funny
bomb
car
defusal
chase.
game mode. It's definitely different than Counter-Strike's bomb defuse mode. For starters, there is a set bomb carrier, and you have to use a one-handed weapon while carrying this bomb. You can't even reload without dropping the bomb to do so, so you better hope you have teammates to protect you. But other than that, the bomb defusal mode didn't have too many differences. Although the game has a bunch of core features that make it play very differently. You can roll in this game with X, lean around corners with E and Q, repel from certain surfaces, and can even use dogs and command them to guard areas. They did look a little silly though. There's also no economy in this game, with each mode allowing you to select from a list of 3 guns in your loadout. 3 guns? Yeah.
Wow,
you only have
really?
3 guns when first starting
Just
this game,
3?
and you also stand no fucking chance with these 3 shitty ass starting guns. What you're gonna have to do is fork over some real money to get better guns.
Real money?
This game failed. Most cool or good items were locked behind a paywall when this game was alive, which by the way, it's been shut down and off Steam for a hot minute. But thankfully the revived version of this game, which I'll put in the description, lets you use these pay-to-win items without having to actually pay. So we did have a ton of fun using these items for free, which is how it should have been to begin with. I personally didn't
that's
play
so
this game at
dumb.
launch, so
Why?
I'm not sure if everything was locked behind a paywall. I at least hope you could unlock some guns, because this game did have an XP system. Anyways, the hostage rescue was nothing too crazy. The maps first start with the CTs rescuing a bunch of hostages in an area, but also having to eliminate the Ts. As the Ts, you have to bash the hostages so they don't run out of the playable area, which you can't go out of either, or the game just says fuck you and has you get exploded by snipers.
Holy mold!
Cool gameplay though, like these.
I just love those free Gmod gore mod type gibs. Just I don't know, something about being made out of spaghetti is just really amusing to me.
Skyscraper map that you could rappel off the side and rescue the hostages. The gunfights in this game were also really fun in my opinion. Your characters are definitely weaker than normal CS, and the guns just hit a lot harder, especially with having Left 4 Dead level gore in the game. This clunky movement also helps with making it feel a lot more realistic and stressful in close quarter combat.
It's like fucking
until
Fear.
someone pulls out the OP pay-to-win shotguns and blow you up in one shot.
Mulch.
Combat was also really fun until someone pulls out the OP pay-to-win snipers that would blow you up in one shot.
He dropped the bomb.
Oh my
VIP escort
god.
was probably the lamest mode in this game, with it being pretty easy to understand. Lead the VIP to the escape zone, which will literally just end the round instantly. The real fun here though was the car chase game mode.
Time for
This
the
blew
funny
my mind
car
when I first played
chase.
it, especially for a Source Engine game. In this game mode, the CTs have to drive a VIP to a drop-off point. Simple enough? Well, this entire time you're being chased by Ts who can even be in multiple cars. So now you have to focus on the Ts trying to kill you in the VIP, all while dodging oncoming traffic and deciding which shortcut to take. Your tires can also get shot out, or your car can blow up if damaged enough. Don't worry though, you can even hijack other cars if you lose your car. I did find this mode really T-sided though, because even if the CT's got the VIP to the drop-off, you still have to escort this stupid ass AI to an area near the drop-off, which allows the T's plenty of time to catch up and kill you while doing so. As far as our experience went on this game, we actually had a ton of fun messing around. It definitely wasn't perfect, far from it, but I think that's what gave this game charm. It's a shame that it was pulled from Steam and isn't playable anymore, especially if you were unfortunate enough to actually buy the pay-to-win items in this game back in the day. The history for this game also goes pretty deep. If only there was someone who interviewed the creator of this game.
Oh wow, and that someone happens to be me. It also includes what happened to TI afterwards, so if you want to know, go watch it. You could even
Let's move on to the next Source game that is pretty obscure with only 2 players playing at the moment. This game is The Ship Murder Party. This is yet another game I found from YouTube when I was younger, and one I played quite a bit of back in the day with my friends. Now, this may just be me, but dude, I love the aesthetics of this game. The music you're hearing now is from the main menu theme.
Honestly, yeah, the aesthetics look so pretty.
This game handles the Art Deco-esque style perfectly.
It's so pretty. It's like Team Fortress,
as well as just the vibe of being on a nice cruise ship.
Team Fortress Among Us, even.
Looking back at it, it's kind of crazy to me that this is a Source Engine game. Okay, so what exactly is this game about? To put it simply, at the start of each round, the game will assign you a quarry, someone to kill. The game will also assign someone to kill you. The way to win though is by having the most amount of money, and you get money by killing your quarry. Duh. Of course, you could always stab them, blow them up.
Ooh, a wallet.
Or even shoot them.
Nice.
But sometimes those hardly give you any money. What you have to look at each round is a list of weapons for you to use that will give you the most money, and usually they aren't good weapons. Although if I'm being honest, this isn't really the fun part of the game. The best part is taking your time with your friends, exploring the ship, and maybe chatting him up a bit before you stab him to death. This game also took pretty big inspiration from The Sims, it feels like, because you'll have a list of needs that you'll need to fulfill, like peeing, sleeping, drinking, eating, bathing, and even talking to people, or else you'll get depressed. I really don't know what type of game they were trying to make here, because it's just an amalgamation of different mechanics. There are even cameras and security you have to avoid, and if they see you using a weapon, you'll get sent to jail. This game is pretty fun, but it of course has its downsides. The gameplay gets stale fast if there's just one person tryharding, and it's also on the Source Engine, so you'll have the occasional source crashes and source jankiness. The maps are pretty awesome and really detailed.
Gotta love
you need
Source.
a lot of people to enjoy the bigger maps, and there's also nobody playing on the servers anymore. The game does have a single player mode though that I didn't really give a good try. It felt like it was made after the multiplayer was made and just used a bunch of those mechanics for single player, which of course didn't work. The publishers of the ship even tried to remaster the game to mixed reviews. I refuse to spend $10 on this game to try.
Now that's pretty funny.
Right out. The developers of this game also made another somewhat popular game called Bloody Good Time that you might remember. This game was also made on the Source Engine, and if I ever make a second part to this video, I'll definitely cover it. The ship is
Andy didn't.
One on this list. I still loved it, and it holds a lot of good memories, but going back and playing it just wasn't the same. Maybe it's the people I was playing with this time, or maybe it's the fact that I was a wee lad when I first played it. This is one of those games that you honestly have more fun in if you don't understand what's going on, if that makes sense. Now, let's move on to a Source game that actually had some amazing gameplay. Double Action Boogaloo. If you haven't played this game already, what is wrong with you? This was a Source Engine classic back in the day, and it's even free on Steam. Double Action Boogaloo, released in 2014 by the studio Double Action Factory, is a game that took heavy inspiration from Max Payne or even The Matrix, and is just overall the epitome of badass. It's a PvP game, of course, and is basically a deathmatch. The way to get the most points, though, is by style points, like backflipping off walls, fighting underneath bullets, shooting someone in a midair dive, or whatever you're creative enough to try out. For a Source Engine game, I think this game uses it perfectly, and surprisingly, it's in third person, which isn't a thing a lot of Source Engine games use. The only other one I can really think about is Postal 3, but feel free to tell me I'm wrong in the comments. There's also a first-person mode that has some pretty dope animations, but it just feels wrong to not play this game in third person. There's a decent array of weapons to choose from, but the most OP of which being the shotguns. And there are even perks you can choose from which allow for some different playstyles, like just straight up punching the shit out of everyone. And this game also has Nick from Left 4 Dead in it for some reason. This game is a ton of fun with some friends, and you should really try it out if you haven't. But like I said with most of these Source games on this list, it's dead. It's sad to check the Steam charts of these once legendary games to see that there are like 12 people playing right now. Thankfully, I played with the homie Doo-Wop on his stream that basically revived this game for a short 30 minutes. It's the first time I had ever actually been able to play this game with a full lobby, and I have to say, smaller lobbies are way better. Although we didn't even get to play the best map on this game, which is the rooftop map. This is probably the map you'd see most YouTubers of the time playing on. I just wish this game maybe had some progression in it, but honestly, I can't really think of a way that would have saved this game from its inevitable death. I just want this game to have a better ending despite it being 10 years old. Maybe they could have released a second game with a completely different
Yeah!
ending. Hopefully some of you go
Goldec.
play it after watching this video. And I may even join in some public
Double
lobbies
H
if
and
they have some
Boogaloo
people
2
in.
for
There
Source
isn't too
2,
much else to talk about
please.
for this game, so
I would
let's move
love
on to
that.
the last game in this video.
And also put the battle pass, microtransactions, and no, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Contagion. There are a lot of zombie
Ooh,
games on the Source
Contagion.
engine for some odd reason. Left 4 Dead being the main one I think of first, and Contagion is probably the one I think of second. But if we're talking about OG zombie Source games, then we need to start with Zombie Panic Source. Now,
Ooh,
I'm not going to sit here and act like I
Panic.
know anything about this game because, well, it's pretty dated now considering it came out in 2007. Because it came out before any other real popular zombie Source games like Left 4 Dead, it has definitely cemented itself as a Source engine classic.
A
The game did
classic,
so
a
well
certified
that the
hood
creators of the
classic.
game, Monochrome, actually kickstarted a successor game that definitely surpassed their goal. This successor was
Ooh.
called Contagion, a game that sadly has less players than its predecessor.
Aw,
Being around
rip.
$10 compared to the first game that was free, I sadly think it killed any longevity from the broke kids like me that look for a free Source engine game to play. But don't get me
Aw,
wrong,
rip.
this game deserves to be $10. $10 honestly feels like a steal for what this game offers. Despite it coming out in 2013, this game still receives updates because the lead and only
Really?
developer Johan refuses to let it die. Now, how is this game different from any other Source zombie game?
Now that is dedication. What a real trooper. What a real champ.
Games like Left 4 Dead, Zombie Panic Source, or even No More Room in Hell? Well, first has to be the gameplay, taking a more grounded and slow approach. Sorry to the movement players out there, but you will be disappointed by this game considering you can die from like a 10-foot fall. It really doesn't have the Source engine movement feel about it at all, which is a shame. But this clunky movement allows the game to have some intense moments while running from zombies and really fun firefights. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention that this game is PvPvE? Well, at least the main game
Ooh,
mode we played was. This
PvPvE?
game mode being called Hunted. All players spawn in a random spot on the map with a random melee and pistol. The looting in this game is pretty diverse, having suppressed scars and M4s, all the way to crossbows and compound bows. Once you find a good weapon, you can go out looking for some players to kill, while also having to watch out for zombies. The rounds go on for quite a bit until there's one surviving player, and once you die in
it's
this
like
game,
PUBG.
you can even come back as a zombie who can amass a horde to go after the surviving
Ooh,
players. It's
like
a simple
PUBG.
enough premise, but boy is it fun to play. There's a couple of twists on this mode, like the fact that you can ring other players' phones near you that you can hear and will also attract zombies too. And you also have a small chance to
Whoa.
get infected when you get hit by a zombie. Something about this game is just so much more unique than any other zombie games out there, not even just Source
Wow.
games. There's also a couple other game modes like Escape, which has you progress through a level with the team, while also looting and killing zombies. The map designs were not the greatest, but it was fun mainly when you're getting surrounded by zombies and about to die. There's even a single player mode that
rip.
I sorta played, and a couple other game modes that we just didn't try out. But if you got $10 and some friends to play with, I'd definitely recommend trying it out, especially considering it's peer-to-peer,
cool.
so you don't have to use some third-party program or empty servers to play with them. And I think that's where I'd like
Nice.
to end things for now. I'm really wondering if I'm the only one that has the fixation for these old Source engine games. But
Well,
something about them,
I'm watching
whether it be
them,
the
so
reused Half-Life 2
I'm not.
assets, or just
I
many
do.
other quirks of the engine,
As well.
I will always love Source, even though no one uses it anymore due to its dated feel, which is honestly probably why I like it. If this video does do well, which
God, I love Source so much. Source is just perfect. Well, it's kind of perfect. I'm holding out for Source 2. Come on, Valve, hurry up with Source 2 so we can get some more delicious Source games. So we can get some delicious Source 2 games. Maybe a double action Boogaloo 2 or a tactical intervention 2, the hidden 2. So many 2s. Pirates, Knights, and Vikings 3. I guess For Honor fills that, but it's like 110 gigs. So, yeah, Pirates, Knights, Vikings 3, please. Pretty please, come on, Valve. I know you want to release Source 2. That'll be the day.